Hi all, ACDodd here again, and welcome to another episode of On the Road Tuning with me, ACDodd. And this time we're off to Lymington and Wimborne to dial in a nice couple of minis. Let's crack on. So here we are. This is Lymington, and I've got a nice Sprite Mini with a 1275 engine. Nice little road racer, lovely little car. And under the bonnet is the Sprite 1275, although I think the owner's told me this is a factory replacement engine, because I believe the car used to be automatic but now it's a manual. So let's go and have a chat with the owner and see why he's called us down. Okay, so this is Alex. Alex is the owner of this lovely little Sprite Mini. So why have you called us down today, Alex?
So I've owned the car for around 10, 11, maybe 12 years, and I've never had it properly dialed in. I started watching your videos about a year ago and tried to do a few things myself, but it's still not quite there yet. It hesitates at about half throttle, sometimes stalls when you pull up at roundabouts with the lights, and yeah, it isn't great to get going when you start it up, so okay. All your help's appreciated.
All right, well, I think you give me plenty to go on, so let's get stuck in and see what we can find. Okay, so we're well into this one. It doesn't look like I've done a lot, and that's because I haven't actually changed anything, because everything's good. So we've got the right coil, which is excellent, which is a 0.8 ohm coil for the Lucas 65D. All the voltages are correct. Everything's working as it should. We've got BP6E plugs, so the V-Groove version, all gapped at 35 thou. All the plugs look perfect. Leads are 5k, but the owner has fitted a brand new set of leads, which are the original 7mm type, so I'm going to leave those for now. Yeah, they're not as optimum as I normally like to fit, but there's no point changing these now when they're brand new, so we'll leave those in there. Nice little car, this one, and a good example of a customer who's been watching my videos and applied some of what they've seen. So yeah, as you saw there, he'd gone through the ignition system and fitted all the new components, and the right ones too, and the car was basically ready for tuning. So let's see what else we find wrong with the ignition system. The only thing I have found wrong with it was the timing. We had 47 degrees of advance, which was absolutely, massive. That's 47 degrees of centrifugal advance fully in, 29 degrees at idle. So yeah, retarded that ignition timing. Check the vacuum unit is all working, which it is. So yeah, all in all, the ignition side of things, the biggest problem here was the ignition advance. So we've sorted that. Now moving on to the carburation side of things. First thing I noticed is when we come back to idle, we had an air leak, and it was missing. So this nut was loose, and this, this pipe you could move back and forth. So I've tightened it up now, and I basically found that just by the usual spraying some brake cleaner on it and installed the engine. So that tells me we had an air leak. So I've tightened it up, and sure enough, it's a lot better. So now what we're going to do is we'll focus our attention on the carburetor and get that dialed in. So the air leak was completely unbeknown to the owner, and it manifested itself as a little misfire when it was idling. So it's a little so basically, by going through the car systematically and then looking for these issues, and when you hear that misfire and you think, that's interesting, the ignition system checks out okay. So just using the usual brake cleaner test that I normally do, I quickly located that there was an air leak on the inlet manifold, and it was indeed a loose servo union. So actually the owner would have noticed an improvement in the brakes as well, in the operation of the braking system, requiring less effort, purely because there was such a big leak. So as ever, we're over to the needle lathe, and the actual fueling on this particular engine is very, very good. So this is HI38 carb, but it's got an AEM needle, which is standard for the Sprite engine. And what we're going to do is we're just a little bit lean at 4,000, and we're very lean at 5,000 and a little bit on progression. So we're going to add that. We're also going to add some fuel to the top end. So let's get that done and see how the engine responds. While we're on the subject of needles, obviously I've been doing some training in the last couple of weeks, so it's a good opportunity to let people know. A lot of people ask me questions about, okay, so you talk about RPMs, and so, you know, where does that respond to on the needle? Well, I don't give all my information away, unfortunately, so that is covered, that information is covered in the training I offer, which is obviously something that people have to pay for. But the idea there is that information is available for those who want to invest in it and can use it to support their own businesses. So, got this one all dialed in. All it needed in the end was a modification to the AEM needle. So I've not changed anything. There's no parts gone into this engine at all. It's just everything about it was the settings. So yeah, she's ready to test drive. So as you can hear from that, she sounds healthy. So let's send Alex out in it and see what he thinks. So Alex has been out for a test drive. You can see I've got a spark plug out, and the reason is because I wanted to show you. If you have an ACDodd tune, then your spark plug after a test drive, and that's a good hard drive, should come out nice and clean. And that's exactly what that one's done, which is excellent. Okay, so Alex has now been out in his car. So what's it like, Alex?
Amazing. It's really responsive. We tested it at high and low speeds, and it's just really smooth. And you know, for me personally, after having the car for so long, it's just really nice to have that reassurance that the car's healthy, and that I can actually take it out with confidence. So
excellent. Great. Okay, so would you recommend this to other people?
Of course I would.
Wonderful.
Definitely.
All right, well, thanks very much for allowing me to tune your car today, and obviously for agreeing to come on camera. So
brilliant. Thanks for coming down.
No problem. Okay, so I'm back to Wimborne. When I say back to Wimborne, I was here a couple of years ago, and these are a couple of new cars that I've got to look at. First off is this lovely 998 Clubman. Look at this. Lovely car. Nice original type Survivor machine. Really good. So, under the bonnet, we have a very nice 1040cc Minispares / Bill Richards built engine. And this one has a bit of a story to it, but more of that later. But in terms of what we're getting ourselves into now, the customer doesn't want to be on camera, which is fine by me. So he's allowed me to tell the story. So let's get stuck in straight away with what we normally do. We'll start with the ignition and work our way through it. Okay, so I've gone through the engine, and the only real thing wrong with it was the spark plug gap was 35 thou, which I've knocked the spark plugs down to 25. I can confirm we've got a power spark distributor. It's got the right advance curve in it, which is excellent. I'm not sure the part number of the one that was fitted, but this was supplied by one of the people that's worked on it. But it's a power spark dizzy, but it only has the low power module, which is fine because it's got a 1.5 ohm coil, which is better than what this car should have anyway. So I've got no problem with the ignition system. That's absolutely fine. Obviously power spark leads, which are all good. The only thing I did do was take about 3 degrees off the ignition advance. It was just a little bit too much advance, and we obviously we weren't running a vacuum connection, so I've connected that back up because part throttle running will be lots better, as will the economy and just the general drivability. So moving on to the carburetor, I can confirm it's very lean, which is excellent because it's a new engine, so that means it's been running lean through its running. So yeah, we should have a cracking little motor here. So let's pull the carb apart and see what's been done in there, and try and get some more fuel in. So over on the needle lathe now, we can see we got the needle in there. So obviously testing it on the engine, what we actually got was on the original needle, which was an ADE needle, was nice and lean, which is obviously what you wanted for running in the engine. So what we're now doing is we're just upping the fueling a little bit. So I've gone up to an ABD needle, and we've got good fueling at 2000 revs, but we're a touch lean at 3, we're quite a bit lean at 4, and we're just about right at 5. So I've got a little bit of tweaking to do, but before we do that and carry on, what I'm going to do now is go back to my desk, in my workshop and tell you a little bit about how we got here and how the owner got here, got me here today, because there is a story to be told and people need to learn from it. Okay, yes, the story. So a little bit of a sad story in terms of incompetent workshop staff, but let me set the scene. So a couple of years ago, the owner contacted me for a tune-up on this very car with a previous engine. But unfortunately, during the build-up to that and getting the car ready, he was doing an oil change and he noticed there was bits of thrust washer stuck to the sump plug, which is never a good sign. So as I said at the time when I contacted him, I said, actually, I think you've got bigger problems. And it turned out he did have. So the thrust washers were on their way out of the engine, and one had made its way out into the sump. So that engine was trashed. So we talked a bit and I suggested, for cost reasons, probably a good idea would be to contact Minispares and get one of their fresh rebuilt engines, which he duly did. So Minispares, thanks to them having these engines available via Bill Richards, one was duly sent down to him and he had that installed by I believe a local garage. Unfortunately, that local garage didn't understand or know how to set an engine up with an SU, and they promptly bore washed that engine to the point where it smoked and used a lot of oil. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because here's a customer that went out and did all the right things and unfortunately fell foul of incompetent garage staff who weren't able to set the fueling correctly on the engine to be able to make a successful running. So the upside of the story is that Minispares were legends, and they offered to have the engine reworked. So I believe it went back to Bill Richards, and he duly did an excellent job of rehoning the cylinders, fitting a new set of rings, putting it all back together. And what you see on the video is what we've got now, which is an excellent running engine. There's no smoke coming out the back. And that's because I understand that Bill set the engine up for running in, and he's done a fantastic job. So the point I'm trying to say here is you must make sure with a new engine that you are getting that engine set up properly by someone who actually knows what they're doing. In this particular case, the owner was assured by the garage that they knew what they were doing and they knew how to do it. Unfortunately, they had no business playing with that engine because they ruined a perfectly good engine by not knowing what to do. The reason why I'm telling you this is because it's very easy to fall into this situation, certainly in the UK, where garages may even believe themselves they know what they're doing, but actually they don't. So, use this information to be warned and be armed so that you can make the right decisions when you are dealing with expensive engine components and replacements, so that you don't end up in the situation. Now, Minispares went above and beyond here to actually help this customer out. They had no right to do that in terms of they supplied a perfectly good engine and it was ruined. So props to Minispares there and Bill Richards for sorting this out. So well done to those involved. Anyway, with that being said, let's get back on with the video and see how it turns out. Okay, so owner's given me permission to drill the airbox, so I've done my usual airbox modifications. This engine being a 1040 and it's got the Minispares Evo 1 cam in it, even though it's got a standard head, is definitely going to need or could benefit for some more airflow. So just ventilating the airbox, and obviously I need to finally calibrate the carburetor with this on, so because this will make a difference. So got this one all dialed in, air filters all on, everything is running absolutely sweet. So we ended up with an ABD needle. Had to have quite a few goes on the modification lathe to get it just where I wanted it, but we're really good now, so we'll let the owner go out in it. And I think he's going to like that a lot. And he did like that a lot. So he was very happy with the performance. Clearly, it was set up for running in, so it was quite lean. So after the modifications and timing adjustment, and obviously reconnecting the vacuum, we made that engine respond very, very well, and the customer was extremely happy with the performance. Not only the obviously increased power, but the smoothness, the drivability, and everything. Again, I'll just take this opportunity to thank Minispares and Bill Richards for helping that guy out. That's an example of fantastic customer service, which is not the normal nowadays. So you know, don't expect, if you're in the same situation, to get the same service from other businesses, because these situations are very specific and they have to be dealt with in accordance with the company and the people involved, ways of doing business and dealing with warranties, etc. Anyway, as ever, I really hope you enjoyed this video and you learned a little bit from it. Please like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you soon on the next one. Thank you very much.